The Angry Marks Podcast Network is brought to you by WrestleWork, a social network to connect, create, and share everything about pro wrestling. Check it out today at WrestleWork.com.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
What do you think about the accusations thrown out about Bill DeMott down there?
I got to be honest with you. I heard about them, but I really don't know anything about them. Whatever it is, it's unfortunate for Bill because Bill is a friend of mine. We haven't talked really. We exchanged Christmas cards, but we haven't actually talked since he left OVW a few years ago. But it's a tough thing, I mean, whether he is or is not, guilty of whatever's been said about him, it's unfortunate. What I can tell you, is this. I probably went through one of the worst training regimes ever in the history of this business, but it's the way it was, and the trainers are hard on you for a reason, and it's to find out if you're going to be tough enough for the business that you want to get in, because it is a hard business, and you have to be tough. You can't be soft, and there's a fine line, I guess, and yeah, times have changed, and hopefully all the things that were said about Bill, are true, but if they are, it's unfortunate for him. That's basically all I can say.
Well, and you just mentioned training there at OVW. One of the really cool things that I think about this Indiegogo campaign that our listeners can go to ovwrestling.com and check out and get a link right to it. If a trained wrestler gets a Kentucky Boxing and Wrestling Authority license and donates $500 to this, they get 1 day in-ring training at your school. And there's even another option, same criteria, but for $1,000, they get a day training and they get to be on your television show. How many wrestlers can go the next level just with 1 day of training with you, working with guys like yourself and Rip Rogers, who we've had on here before, and then also get a spotlight on them on TV?
Right, and we'll obviously spotlight them as being a donor to the fundraising campaign. But there's for those who aren't able to donate that kind of money, like I spoke earlier, if people could just donate $1. We could nip this thing in the bud, in just a matter of minutes, because we're not asking for a lot, but there are options on our website for whatever anyone can do.
I just donated while we were talking, and it's so easy to do.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And I do want to let our listeners know, there are lots of options. You can donate a minimum of $1, or you can pick your amount. If you donate $20, you can have a signed picture of any current active OVW superstar mailed to you. If you donate $50, it's the picture plus an OVW DVD. And for $100, you get a picture, DVD, and a T-shirt. So that's pretty cool. And it was very easy to do.
Yeah, and certainly appreciate you bringing that up. But it's really easy to do. So.
We have the great privilege of talking to Nightmare Danny Davis here live on the Undisputed Wrestling Show. And let's get a wrestler's perspective. And I hope you've been listening to this, Mr. Huckabee. $1,000 and you get your butt on television, dude.
Man, look.
None other than the NWA. Hang on. Let me at least introduce you properly. The NWA Continental Champion, hailing from the great state of North Carolina, William Huckabee.
Very nice to meet you, William. Danny Davis here.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Davis. It's an honor. I would love.
Please call me Danny.
Danny, I would love to donate $1,000 just for indie wrestling, period. But I have 5 kids. One of them's going to college.
Outstanding. I totally understand. Hey, that's why we have other options for those who have 5 kids and who have college tuition to look at. I totally get it.
And now I want to talk more. I want to bring up, the Performance Center and NXT, but from a different light. Because the era that you came into the business wrestling was a big man's business. How do you feel, especially as a trainer, the transition from this being a big man's business to being for guys who are smaller and lighter and faster? What's your opinion about that?
Well, I think it's good for guys my size. I think it's good for the smaller guys because, back in the day, it was a big man's business. And if you remember watching the old WWF program, they were giants in there, and you very rarely, if at all, maybe you would see, maybe a Mike Pappas every once in a while, who was a small guy, but it was very rare that there were, anyone on the card that was under 6 feet tall. I think nowadays, it's very good that, they are, employing, smaller guys because, let's face it, they're more acrobatic nowadays and they're very exciting. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Now, obviously big guys have their place and they certainly should be there. But, I think it's very good that opportunity has been given to the smaller guys.
Another thing about the Performance Center is that now they're starting to use guys who have gotten or who have made their bones, I guess you could say, on the indie circuit and bringing them into FCW and kind of giving them a push. Do you think that there will ever be a resurgence in WWE where they're going to start signing guys straight to the main roster who have gotten experience in OVW, in ROH, in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Mexico, Japan? Do you ever think that we'll start seeing that resurgence again?
Well, currently, no. The guys that come from all of the territories that you mentioned will have to go through their Performance Center because that's their protocol now. Unless they change their protocol, obviously that won't happen. But if they change that protocol, then yeah, those guys could be called up from one of those territories and go to the main roster. But it would have to be, probably a unique talent, someone who commands, high social media presence and something of that nature. Because, hey, let's face it, this day and age, every move that any independent wrestler makes, and this is very important, and I don't know if they know this or not, but I can guarantee you that a company like World Wrestling Entertainment, they have someone in their office who monitors every independent wrestler that has signed up, on their website. They monitor their entire social media platform, I guarantee you. And if an individual is radical, if he's, I don't know, if he expresses himself in negative ways, they're going to know it. And that individual is not going to have an opportunity, if you know what I mean. Because the way things are in the corporate world, buddy, it is nothing like what we do in OVW. It's nothing like what goes on, in ROH or any of the other organizations at all. It's just, it's different. And every independent wrestler out there needs to understand that if they want to get to the big dance, then they have to conduct themselves in a certain way and know that the higher ups in WWE know every move they make on social media, and if they're presumed to be problematic, they'll never give you an opportunity to do anything. So, food for thought.
Let's see, I'm glad you brought up the social media aspect of professional wrestling now. Do you feel like over there at OVW, I'm gonna ask you this flat out: do you train guys about social media etiquette? And do you and Trailer Park Trash? Do you have a habit of every once in a while going to a guy's Twitter, going to a guy's Instagram or Facebook, and just seeing what these guys are posting? If they're posting something that you feel is inappropriate or puts OVW in a negative light, you kindly ask them to take it down.
Well, here's the thing: we ask them to be, respectful. But the bottom line is, we can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do, and it is my belief that if you are an individual with a company, any company, no matter who it is, if you speak negative about where you come from, but everyone else speaks positive, what does that say? It says that something's wrong with you, and it's just the way it is. Social media is good and it is bad. Do we teach guys how to do that? Absolutely not. If I had my preference, there wouldn't be an internet. That's just me, because the internet, in this day and age, you can't get away with anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can't have wrestling like we used to have it. But that is the way it is, and we asked our talent to be careful about what they do out there. Some listen, some don't, and that's just the way it is.